It started with a simple idea. What if I played through every game I ever wanted to finish? That idea became the 1K Backlog Catalog, 1,000 games across 10 consoles, and my mission to beat them all, one by one. Game number 3 of the challenge, Arkista's Ring, developed by NMK and published by American Sammy in 1990 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, hike up those parachute pants, it's time to drop in and check out Arkista's Ring. So what exactly is Arkista's Ring? It's a sort of top-down Zelda-looking game, and that's kind of where the similarities end. Other than the fact that you shoot a bow, there's not a lot of similarities here. Arkista's Ring is a fast-paced linear progression and has several different stages. Passing each stage becomes more and more challenging. So let's get into the story. The Legend of Arkista. Once upon a time, in an elven kingdom, there was a city called Arkista that was protected by a magical ring. Legend has it the magical ring would provide peace and harmony throughout the land. Elves from all over came to Arkista to live near the ring and share in the happiness and its prosperity. The elves also had 2 other ancient treasures. The Wealth Amulet provided fortune to the land, and the Elf Mirror, which protected the elves from harm. Arkista became a high point of elven civilization. Meanwhile, in his forbidden castle, the evil shogun raged and fussed. "I will steal the ring of Arkista and the elves' treasures," he screamed to his horde of wicked, vile creatures. "I will plunge the land into darkness and despair." That night, he hatched a dastardly plan to take the ring and the elven treasures. Later, as the elves slept, the shogun's nasty ninjas carried out the master's bidding. "The ring is gone," cried the elves the next morning, "and so are the treasures. Oh, whatever will become of us now?" wailed the elves. Without the ring and the treasures, Arkista began to slide into ruin. Birds refused to sing and the sky grew very dark. The evil shogun's army of horrible creatures overran the countryside. As the elves all huddled under their beds, the elders agonized in the town hall. Suddenly, the door of the town hall swung open, and in came Christine, a courageous little elf. "I will rescue the ring," she declared. The elders looked at each other and shook their heads. Christine set out on her quest anyway, armed with only a bow and arrow. "Fear not, townsfolk, I will defeat the fiendish shogun and return all that he has stolen from us," she solemnly vowed. Alright, let's start by talking about the graphics. The graphics are nothing special here. The sprites are small, they don't have much detail. The enemies do have enough variation to them to set them apart, which is a very good thing. The environment is mostly interesting looking, with a bit of color variation to show some distinction as you progress through the stages. On to the music and audio. I really like the opening music. It's got a nice catchy grab and sets a good tone for the beginning of the game. The music ranges from chill melodies to up-tempo sounding metal-ish tracks. It's a little good and it's a little forgettable, unfortunately. The audio is not much to speak about, with your bow making a beep sound and taking damage has a zap sound. I guess if I had to pick a favorite sound, it would be the wah-wah that happens when you die. Oh shoot, I should have used a potion. As for my least favorite sound, well, more on that later. Let's get into the gameplay. As I begin to play the game, I realize that using the environment to your advantage is going to be paramount. I have ranged attacks, and I need to try and kill as many enemies as possible from a distance. But you'll see that the enemies strategically wait for you in certain spots until you progress forward so they can sort of ambush you. So you need to get better and better at using the environment to your advantage. One of the major downfalls of this game is the controls. For the most part, it's not too bad, but you can't rotate on the spot. When you press left, you'll go left. When you press right, you'll go right. But you can't spin on the spot, which makes it so you're turning into enemies coming at you oftentimes, which isn't exactly ideal. Like I said, once you get used to it, you can overcome that. The game has a nice feeling of progression. As you kill enemies, they drop bags which can increase your carrying capacity, allowing me to carry more weapons, special items, and also acquire new weapons and armor. Armor such as leather armor, shields, gauntlet, helmet, mantle. These upgrades act like additional health. When you lose health, those pieces become damaged. Until you take enough damage, you start to lose your hearts. The game starts out in a peaceful, forest-like area that's been overrun by the Shogun's enemies. Facing off against scorpions, goblins, and wolves, it's not that bad, but as we progress through, the levels and the enemies get more and more dangerous. There's 31 stages in a single loop. Some of the levels will require you to simply clear all the enemies, and other levels have puzzles to be solved or secrets to be found. Once you obtain a key for that level, you simply need to clear the enemies and move on to the next stage. None of the puzzles are too challenging, and the secrets are your pretty standard fare of walls or bushes you can walk through. You start with 2 extra lives, and you can obtain more lives as you kill enemies. At stage 4, we come across Sky Wizards, who are these red flying guys that come flying in at me. They can be a pain when you're dealing with ground enemies as well, so I keep an eye out for them. Stage 5 has me going into an underground crypt or catacomb, and we see new enemies in the zombie and the bats. In stage 6, I encounter boneheads and blob. The game actually has a very good amount of variety in enemies. I counted 30 in total throughout the game's manual. That brings me to the extra weapons you can use in the game. Obviously, we have our bow, but you can pick up a fire wand, allowing me to shoot fireballs until I clear the stage, the thunder wand, which will insta-kill most low-level enemies, the holy stick for destroying undead, and finally, there's the ninja stunner. As the name suggests, it will stun ninjas for a short time. This will be incredibly useful in the last few stages. I can also pick up cure potions that not only restore our hearts, but restore my armor pieces. Knowing when to use certain items makes the game much easier. Some challenging sections can be made to look like child's play. Ooh. The slimes are an interesting enemy. I don't think I can damage them with traditional weapons, so sometimes the easiest way past them, walk over them and take a little bit of damage. Stage 18 has me dodging zombies on my way to the crypts of stage 19. I come across a new enemy in stage 20, the blue flaming skull, using similar flying movements to the earlier Sky Wizards. An interesting part about undead enemies in this game is that they come back to life after a certain amount of time. I think it's a nice little touch, and it makes you have to take that into consideration. In stage 21, we are introduced to Grandmaster Fang. Fantastic name, if I do say so myself. The game's manual says he's the king of bats and a real bloodsucker. Stages 22 and 23 are more of the same as I work my way through this crypt. In stage 24, the new enemies are creepers and barbarians. The barbarians are the big green guys that move incredibly slow. They are arrow sponges as well, taking several hits to dispatch them. This is also the first stage to have a ninja. This is an easy kill of this ninja and will give me a false sense of hope of the ninjas to come. In stage 25, the ninjas come in for an immediate ambush. The next stage puts me back outside and I work my way up to the evil Shogun's palace. The ninjas in stage 27 start to show off their ability to scale walls and come at me from different angles. The Cyclops is a new enemy here, and the manual has this to say about them. One-eyed giant, doesn't have a high IQ, and wanders aimlessly about. The game's manual has quite a few jokes like this sprinkled throughout, and I'm sure dads around the world appreciate these. I go straight for my fire wand in stage 28. With its ability to shoot through walls, these ninjas can be taken care of quickly. Except this gray ninja, F this guy, he nearly takes me out. Stage 29 throws several ninjas at me, and I use my stuns to manage the onslaught. There are several barbarians wandering towards me on this level as well. Once the ninjas are gone, I can simply kite them around the room and chip away at their hit points. Stage 30 has the ninjas dialed up to 11. I immediately activate my fire wand, and I have several ninja stuns at my disposal. Anytime I get overwhelmed, I stun them and clean the room. The room is filled with several fake staircases. I have to keep checking each one till I get the real one to get to the next stage. All the while, ninjas keep spawning just to be a nuisance. After killing 18 ninjas, I find the correct staircase and I'm on to stage 31. Here we go, evil Shogun himself, the final boss. I chuck my fire wand on immediately and start blasting. He won't do too much damage to you unless you let him get close to you, so I do my best with a little run and gun technique, or at least the best I can in this game. If you know what to do, this fight isn't too bad and he'll go down with relative ease. Upon killing him, I pick up Arkista's ring, grab the key and head for the door. Leaving the palace, I grab another key, and then the world starts to shake. The palace crumbles before me and the evil Shogun is no more. The music chimes in and the game freezes. So here's where I tell you that this is actually not the first time I've played this game, and this is my least favorite sound in the game. The game is designed to be played through 4 times to have a true completion. I have just completed one loop. Not once, not twice, but 4 times, and 3 out of those 4 times the game froze in the exact same spot. One of those times I accidentally reset the game. After doing a bit of research online, I could not find anyone talking about this issue with the game. It could be an issue with the ROM I'm using to play this. I also noticed while researching that when people speedrun this game, they only do a single loop. I have in fact retrieved Arkista's ring in each of my playthroughs. That is the goal of the game according to the story. So with all that information, I'm gonna call this one complete. But I will say, I really enjoyed this game, and one day I plan on revisiting this. I'm hoping I can track down a physical copy and give this another proper shot one day. But for now, I'm calling this one complete. So let's get into the pros and the cons of Arkista's ring. The cons are the controls are a little bit janky. They're a little bit old. Not being able to turn on a dime, being able to turn on place makes the combat a little bit of a tricky situation to get used to. But once you're used to it, it's pretty good. The graphics are really basic. It's nothing special, but it's passable. And that's about it for my cons. The pros in this one, the enemy variety is crazy good for the time. Over 30 enemies and some boss fights. I was really pleasantly surprised with the enemy variety in this game. The health and armor system is also really cool, and how your armor actually just acts like additional health rather than some sort of separate mechanism. Drinking a potion gives you your armor back, which I thought was a really cool arcadey way to handle the health system, and I enjoyed that. Special items in this game makes it so fun to plan for future battles if you've already done a run through, and also give you a little bit more variety in how to take down enemies, having fireballs, thunder wand. The undead one is really situational and useful when you have it, but at the end of the game, when you don't need it, it's not useful to have it. So making sure that you've got the items you need at the end of the game to just make it easier is, you know, some strategy involved. The badass elf Christine, I think, is a great choice for a character in this game. Christine was awesome. Even when the elders doubted her, she just went, I'm gonna do this quest and I am going to save Arkista. So I loved that. As far as score, I give this a 7. I had a really good time with this. I was surprised how good of a time I had with this, so I have to give it a 7, and I really want to play this one again one day. Yeah, I recommend this. I really do. Give it a shot. Difficulty, once you get used to it, this is not a difficult game. Maybe on the subsequent playthroughs that I couldn't get to, it does become a fair bit more difficult, and I would be pretty interested to see how those would play out. But for what I could play, I gave it a 3. It's not a difficult game. There's a little bit of strategy involved, but so long as you sort of get used to what you're doing and how the game works, I think anybody can approach this and beat this game. Would I recommend this game? Oh my gosh, yes. I don't think this game looks like anything special, but it has such an addictive gameplay loop. I think that everybody should. If you're an old school retro fan, I think you should try it. I really do. It's quite fun. That's what we got for Arkista's Ring. And we did a random number draw for the next game. The next game is Skate or Die. Stay tuned for that video, and thank you very much for sticking around for this video. Please give me a like, give me a follow if you enjoyed it. This is going to be a heck of a long journey. You know, for me, this is probably the rest of my life is doing this, and I love video games. I'm passionate about video games, so I'm really excited to keep going with this, and I appreciate all your support. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.